Hey everybody, Peter Soda here from SlashFilm.com, and I am here with
Steve Weintraub with Collider.com.
And we're here in Las Vegas at CinemaCon. All the movie theater exhibitors come here, and the studios show them all footage from the upcoming year and a half, 2 years, to try to impress them with all the films that they're going to have.
It's Comic-Con for theater owners.
Yes, and we just got out of the Sony presentation,
Yes.
and there was a lot of stuff at this presentation.
Was.
Today has been packed.
I can't talk about today because it's been over-fucking-whelming.
Yeah. So,
it really has.
So let's talk about what we saw at Sony. It started with Ang Lee's Billy Lynn's long halftime walk.
Yes.
What do you got to say about this?
I'm a firm believer in Ang Lee. I think that not all of his movies have been home runs, but Life of Pi was incredible. And this is another one of these movies which is going to push the boundaries with technology. It's going to have high frame rate. It's going to be...
Yeah, the war sequences are shot in 120 frames per second.
Yeah, basically Tom Rothman, the chairman of Sony, was explaining that when he's at home, Billy Lynn, it will be like normal, the way a normal movie looks to all of us. But all the war sequences are going to be in the super high frame rate to make it feel like you're actually in the middle of the battle. So it's going to mix the technology. It's going to use technology to help tell the story. And if anyone can do that, it's Ang Lee. And I thought the footage that they showed, for me, looked like it could be a very powerful war film, and especially after the effects of war.
Yeah, the story seems like it's something emotional, and it seems like it has potential to be something special. That said, I'm not a fan of high frame rate, and they didn't project it in high frame rate, but it was down converted, and it still has that kind of like it looks like it was shot for TV kind of thing.
I didn't have that problem compared to other movies, but for me, I think the footage looked really cool, and it looked like it could be a very powerful film. And Ang Lee has enough of a track record for me to believe in his ability, and
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm in, and I'm very curious. What's the next one?
Passengers.
Passengers looked awesome. And I'm not sure, it wasn't awesome the way...
What's the premise of the movie?
Okay, Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence play two passengers on a over 5,000 seat ship that is traveling from Earth to the other side of the galaxy, wherever it's going. Yeah. It's a 120-year journey, and they wake up 30 years into the journey. And the kicker...
And they are the only two that wake up. Their pod's open.
Right. Yeah. Basically, the ship's going through some sort of malfunction, and Chris Pratt's character wakes up. And then, they showed us in this footage, so it's a minor spoiler, I guess, but a year later, Jennifer Lawrence wakes up, and the kicker is that the ship is designed so errors like this never happen, and so there's no one to complain to, there's no one to call. It's like, imagine being trapped in a room that's providing for you, but you can't escape. And there's like Michael Sheen plays this robot bartender, but it's basically like being on a boat in an ocean, and you can't call for help.
Yeah, and then it seems like all kinds of shit goes wrong, and it seems kind of gravity, like amazing, like kind of space set action sequences. I will say this: I knew a bunch about this movie ahead of time, and I was kind of surprised at how funny the stuff they showed us was. I mean, it's Chris Pratt. I guess it shouldn't be surprising.
Yeah.
And the chemistry that they have. Whoa.
Right. Yeah.
Not.
This is
our
Peter.
Setup is not great.
Let's
here.
do this.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties.
And we normally have a tripod for this kind of stuff.
Will that work?
Yes.
Yeah, that will work.
Okay. And I shouldn't be surprised that they have so much, the chemistry between them is so well. I was kind of surprised that they kind of had this montage, so it's almost like a romantic comedy, like, thing. Like, I didn't imagine this movie being kind of like this relationship kind of thing.
Yeah, the chemistry between those two was palpable, whatever the fuck that word is. And there's a sequence in like a cafeteria where they're talking, and Chris says to Jennifer, "You're like the most beautiful woman." And Jennifer basically climbs on the table and basically starts making out with him.
Yeah.
And it was, listen, I think the footage looked great. The director is the one who did The Imitation Game, the Benedict Cumberbatch movie, the World War II. That's what it's called, right? The Imitation? Or am I saying that wrong? Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, it looked really good. And it doesn't look like realistic sci-fi the way Story of Your Life looked. This looked like a Hollywood fun sci-fi, but like, do you know what I mean? It didn't seem as down and dirty.
Yeah, no, it looked kind of shiny, their spaceship looked like almost like a DNA strand, where it's like the spiral kind of thing. It looked kind of cool.
Yeah, listen, I mean,
anyways.
these two are like huge movie stars. The movie looked really great. It was one of the highlights of the presentation.
Okay, we got to move on.
Yeah, I agree.
think we got to cut out Underworld here. Baby Driver.
Edgar Wright's new movie, the footage just showed shots of the cast. It was selling the cast rather than selling any plot. So you saw John Hamm, you saw Kevin Spacey.
Had some cool music, set to a cool style. So we know it's going to be stylistic and it's going to have music and it's going to be Edgar Wright.
And it just said like now in production. So it wasn't even a teaser trailer, it was just showing shots of the cast.
Let's talk about Ghostbusters.
Okay.
I will say the first trailer divided people. I was one of the people that was like, I think this looks like it could be good. The comedy stuff I wasn't too sure about, but I was kind of still excited about it. This footage, not so much. They showed us a scene, like one of the opening, it wasn't the first scene, but it's like the first scene that they, as Ghostbusters, go and investigate something. And the comedy, if you didn't like the comedy in that trailer, I don't think you're going to like the comedy in the scene.
I would agree with that statement.
Yeah.
I would agree. For me, here's the truth. The truth is that
And I'm not saying it looks bad. I just think it's going for a thing that I think a lot of people might not want.
I think that the interesting problem with this is that if you have to factor in that there's going to be a generation of people or generations of people that have never seen the original Ghostbusters. So they're going to go into this movie, all these young kids who are 12 years old, who have never seen Ghostbusters, and this is all going to be new to them.
Yeah.
And for them, this is a completely different kind of movie. For us, and for everyone out there that's watched Ghostbusters and loves Ghostbusters, and like Bill Murray, I mean, it's just such an awesome movie. There's that added baggage, and I didn't think that the footage they showed tonight made me laugh the way that like I would like to laugh, but at the same time I really believe in Paul Feig and I really like this cast and I'm holding out hope that the movie's going to be really good.
You said what I was thinking. And it should be mentioned, we saw a clip that showed a cameo that we will not spoil here, but it was meta and kind of funny.
Yeah, I was disappointed they put oh, I thought it was going to fall again. I was disappointed they put that clip in because it's just like I don't want to say it's desperation, but it's like desperation to put that clip in.
Yeah.
It's like save that for the movie theater, not in a footage clip.
It does seem like they're a little unsure of things. We should go.
Let's talk about these two titles real fast. They announced that the Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover is going to be MIB 23, which I love the title. What about you?
I'm not sure I love the title because
Get
it
the
makes
fuck
it
outta
sound like it's like the 23rd movie in the series.
Well, it's 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street.
I get it.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's the title. I like it a lot. And then they announced the Spider-Man title.
I'm betting they're going to change that. Okay,
No.
go on.
MIB 23, it's a good title. And then they announced the Spider-Man solo movie will be Spider-Man Homecoming.
Which has dual meanings because it's Homecoming for Spider-Man to Marvel, and it's also a teenage story.
I think
High school.
I don't think that's the double meaning. I think the Homecoming is like a homecoming dance. I think-
That's what I'm saying. It's a homecoming dance,
Sure.
high school, but it's also a homecoming for Spider-Man.
Sure. Okay. So then they showed it. They promoted all their animated movies, and I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of them really did not impress me. But the end of the animation sequence, where they announced all these animated movies, they showed a title card of the animated Spider-Man film by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
And the head of animation said this. This is what interested me, Steve. He said, "It's a vision of Spider-Man that will take your breath away. Quote, conceptually and visually, it will break new ground for the superhero genre." What does that mean?
Maybe the whole thing's first-person shooter.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
But I mean, that's a big promise.
Look, it's 2 years. It's 2.5 years away. So they're probably still in development on this thing. So I think they're, and on top of that, Miller and Lord are so busy with Han Solo. It's like they're so busy. I wonder about this one. But let's move on.
The Shallows. This is the movie with Blake Lively. We see her surfing on some kind of island paradise.
Someplace her mom told her to go.
Yes, and how do we?
Basically, she's going surfing, and she's in this very remote area, and she's like really indie, and it's filmed in a really interesting way, the footage, and she's going out for one last run, and this goddamn monster shark comes.
And by monster shark, you mean a huge ass shark.
Yeah, like we're talking Jaws ×2,
Yeah.
or at least Jaws level, and she manages
Bigger
to
than
get to this like little island 100 yards from the shore, and she's basically trapped.
And by
on
island,
it.
it's like a little rock, like that's, and basically the high tide is coming. She only has like 2 hours
Yeah,
before the water is going to be up high and the shark's still.
right, and also these
Circling.
people that were trying to rescue her basically got eaten.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like bloody and brutal, and I got to be honest, I thought the footage looked pretty good.
Yeah. I love these kind of contained kind of films that's like a thriller and it like puts someone in. I mean, they must have filmed that for pretty cheap because she just needs to be there for like most of the movie, right?
No idea, but sure.
I love that kind of creativity.
I thought the footage looked really good, and that's what I mean. I actually want to see the movie. So let's move on.
We should talk about Inferno, which is a Da Vinci Code, the third film in the Da Vinci Code series. Again, Tom Hanks and Ron Howard directing. The thing about this, I mean, if you're not excited about the Da Vinci Code series, you probably aren't going to be excited about this film. But to me, this film looked more intense and bigger than the last two.
I heard they had a good script. I don't know if that actually means anything.
But do you agree with me? It looked more intense and bigger?
I'll be honest, I don't even know if I saw the last one.
Oh, wow.
But I like Tom Hanks a lot, and I like these kind of thrillers. I don't know why I don't think I saw the last one, but I agree with you. It did look bigger, but I mean, it's one of these films that it's like, it's just it's like borderline National Treasure. It's like one of those kind of movies. But let's talk about Sausage Party.
Sausage Party, I don't know what to say. It premiered at South by to glowing reviews, and it looks hilarious.
Yeah, basically it's about supermarket food that doesn't realize they're going to get eaten. And, they think that they're going to some golden place, and slowly they realize that they're going to get eaten. And it's like a filthy R-rated Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg movie, and I laughed a lot.
It's as if people that were like getting high at Pixar decided to make a movie that should never be made, and this is the result.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven. Antoine Fuqua reteaming with Denzel Washington, first time I think since Training Day. Huge cast. Chris
Pratt's in it.
Ethan Hawke.
I should say I'm not a huge Western person. Are you?
I like good westerns.
I mean, yeah.
Unforgiven. One of my.
But
I think Unforgiven's one of my favorite.
I will
films.
say that this looked a little bit more stylized than your typical Western. It looked a bit more modern than, it's not a throwback Western. It's kind of a contemporary Western. And even though it is obviously a remake, I'm in. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always going to be in when it's Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it was rated R, just because you could do a little bit more. It's going to be PG-13. That's not a deal breaker for me with this cast, but just saying. But yeah, I'm totally in. Antoine makes fun movies.
And I think that's all we saw at the Sony panel.
Listen, I should mention that there was a lot of other stuff they announced, showed footage of Resident Evil, the final movie, the last Underworld movie, tons of Screen Gems movies.
They showed a bunch of titles for movies that aren't coming out for forever.
They also showed footage from Don't Breathe, which is the guy who did Evil Dead, the remake. It's his new movie, and I thought the footage looked great.
Yeah, it looked good. But anyways, we should sign off for now. You'll find more of our coverage from CinemaCon on both of our sites, slashfilm.com and collider.com. You can find him on Twitter at
Collider Frosty.
You can find me on Twitter at /film. And we'll see you next time.